You're listening to Gearing Up, an everyday carry podcast, a show that's made for the community, featuring interviews with makers, creators, and members of the community, and discussions on current trends in the industry. Follow along as we talk about life, gear, hobbies, and more. And be sure to stay tuned for new episodes every week. What's up? Hello everyone, welcome back to Gearing Up. This is the podcast where, as I stated in the intro, we talk about life, gear, photos, stuff, things, habits, collectibles. You guys get the shtick, right? Like, this is our thing. So today's episode is gonna be a bit of a rambler, just for those of you that are like not into that at all. If you want to go ahead and skip to the end, feel free. But thank you guys again for coming back. The response the last couple episodes has been unbelievable. So thank you. If you can't tell by the excitement in my voice, again, I'm still super excited to be back at this and talking into a microphone and, just doing my thing. So, when I say today's episode is going to be a little bit of a rambler, I really want to go over two topics. So, the other day I posted on my Instagram story, I said, hey, what's some stuff you guys want me to chat about? And I got two responses that I thought, man, I feel like I could talk about these for a minute. So, we're going to get into those here shortly. But before that, I just want to give you guys a heads up. I'm still working on setting up streaming. I got a nice ring light, and I have my camera and the card that I need for my computer and all that stuff. So I am still working on it. I'm trying to figure out the best way to use it. So this is sort of a learning curve for me. Plus, I want to set up the quote-unquote studio. It's really just our spare bedroom, aka our office. Yeah. So I want to do some fancifying the background and things like that. But so bear with me on that. It is something that I definitely want to do. My goal I'm not much of like a New Year's resolution kind of guy, but my goal for 22 is like, I really want to flesh this thing out and have a video component and have, more guests on. I've got some things in the works there. So, just bear with me. But, thank you guys again for downloading and checking out the pod. And I hope you guys dig what we're doing. So, without any further chit-chat, let's get into topic number 1 today. The first thing I want to talk about is challenge coins. Now, challenge coins to me, that term, I know that they have their own thing. I know in like the armed forces or law enforcement or both, they're like a big thing. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know anything about that because I don't. So I'm not going to refer to them as challenge coins. For me, coins have always just been like little reminders. And so let me rewind a little bit. I'll walk you guys through sort of my coin collection, for lack of a better term. And then I'll just kind of give you some thoughts on them. But if we rewind, so there's a radio DJ that I think I've talked about on the pod before that I listen to, and his name is Bobby Bones. He does a show in Nashville. Some people love him, some people hate him. I've listened to him for years, and he has this saying, it's fail until you don't. I have that tattooed on my arm. I have it on a sign right behind me, and it has kind of been It was a tweet he put out, and it just hit me at the right time in the right place, and it sort of stuck. And one of the things I've struggled with, I guess kind of forever really, is this idea of like failure and that not being okay. And now in my adulthood and as I progress through life, I'm like, wait, failure is like this really cool thing that teaches me a lot of stuff. Anyways, this is an aside. A few years ago, probably, well, my son's almost 5, so probably about 5 years ago, I was into copper EDC stuff, and I know this sounds like it's going all over the place. Trust me, we're bringing it back in. And I really wanted something to carry with me that said fail until you don't. And so I got on Etsy and I found, hell, if you go type in like custom carry coin or custom coin or something, like a billion results will pop up. I have no idea who it was, but they made like I think it's a 1 or 1.5. It's a bigger than a 1 inch. It's got to be like 1.5 inch coin or 1.25 inches maybe. And on one side it says fail with a period. Because that is, in this example, that's a complete sentence, fail. And then on the other side, it says until you don't. And I carried that thing like crazy. It was a great little fidget piece. I got really good at flipping it between my knuckles and all that stuff. And then when my son was born, my father-in-law gave me, I'm not going to get into too much detail because it would take forever to tell the story, but he gave me a coin from his father's old business, and I never got the chance to meet his father, but yeah. Anyway, so my father-in-law gave me this coin when my son was born, so that sort of enters in coin number 2 for me, and it's still very near and dear. I've posted it on my feed if you guys want to scroll. You can certainly try and go find it, but those 2 coins kind of got me started on all of this, and ever since then. There's one other coin. So let me before I go off into my spiel, let me walk you guys through my last coin. So when I was younger, I did quote unquote collect coins, right? If I found an old penny, I was like, ooh, throwing this in the box. I get foreign currency and like old buffalo nickels and like I feel like at least young boys go through that at some point, right? Where you're like, ooh, cool old money. I do have a penny from 1803, if that's, or is it 18? I think it is. I think it's like 1800. No, that's way too, I'm stupid. No, you know what it is? It's 1903, because I have another one almost just like it that's from 1897. That's what it is. Sorry, disregard that. I don't have a penny from 1800. I do have one from 1900, but anyway, and I still have it too. But anyways, I spent a lot of time with my grandfather, my dad's dad, and super cool guy. He totally got the coin thing with me, though, because he was big into baseball cards. I mean, until he passed away, big into baseball cards. Huge. And I was with him one time, and he took me up to this mall where he lived, and there was like a collectible shop, and I think he went in to go buy baseball cards, but I had seen in a book somewhere that there was a $50 with Ben Franklin on it. And I thought that was like the coolest thing. I don't know why. It's just Ben Franklin. But Ben Franklin's kind of a badass. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, if I ever... Well, anyways, we go into the shop and boom, there's Ben Franklin $50. I think it was like $9. Like, it's not super rare. It's not super expensive. Anyways, wrapping up all of these stories, I sent that off to, JB Creates. I forget his Instagram handle. If you go scroll through my feed and you find this $50, he's tagged, but I had him carve it for me so that Ben Franklin has a skull, because I thought that was just super cool, and that coin is super special to me. So anyways, those are like my 3 really special, like sentimental, super important, nostalgic coins. Like those are the ones that mean something, and I like to carry one of them every now and then. Now, I don't carry a coin every day, but tying that into like the EDC world, like coins have always been a way. I more recently I've started to look at them as sort of a bridge between Ranger eyes and stickers and pins and little the sub $50 swag and the higher end stuff, knives and gear and openers and whatever. And I feel like coins are a really great way. So like the first couple that come to mind are like Pete's Pirate Life and Lucas Burnley's coins are amazing. And obviously Sam, Raven the Pirate, you guys have heard him on here before. But anyways, the all of these coins, I feel like they're great ways to support these folks, and it's not too much of a commitment. So when someone asked me to talk about them, I thought, well, at first I'm like, I've kind of gotten to the point where I'm kind of over coins. I'm not searching for them anymore, but I think they are what you make of them, right? And if it is, they look so cool in pictures. So obviously that's a plus for all of us Instagram folks. But yeah, I mean, when it comes to coins, like to me, it's a lot less about the actual coin itself. And I think anybody that is a fan or a carrier of coins would agree that like it's not about the coin so much as the what it represents or the connection between you and the maker of the coin or whatever's on the coin, if that makes sense. So like those three that I mentioned are super important, but I've also got Sam Raven the Pirate's coin, and Sam and I have become friends through Instagram. We've talked. He's been on the pod before. Just a super great dude, and without me knowing, without me asking, he just sent it to me, and I thought it was one of the coolest things, and it was so cool to see, his design and his idea, and just seeing his logo, like the raven on the back of it was like super cool. So, when it comes to coins, I don't know if I'm gonna take a stance, right? I don't know if that's the person that commented this on my Instagram question. I don't know if that's what they wanted, but I like coins. Like I said, I wouldn't say that I'm still actively collecting and searching, and I'm not, drooling over any of the coins that have come out lately. But from a sentimental or nostalgic or again, I can't. I don't have a custom knife from Lucas Burnley, but I think, or a Cypop for that matter. But like his coins are super dope, and so I guess from like a pragmatic standpoint, if I can't buy any of that more expensive gear, like a coin is a nice entry. Now I will say that like I'm gonna be careful when I say this, but there is a point where like I feel like like Pete's Pirate Life, love Peter McKinnon, love his Instagram feed and his YouTube videos and all that stuff. I feel like he's gotten to a point where he's gotten a bunch of them out, and so if I were collecting, I feel like I would kind of be like, when's another one gonna come out? Because man, I've got a lot of them, and that's not a negative. If you're into those things and you like collecting and you like keeping, everything that your favorite creator releases, then great. I still think his V1 coin is like my absolute favorite. I think it's super cool. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much my 2 cents on coins. 2 cents. You guys see what I did? I promise to limit the terrible dad puns. But yeah, I mean, I think it's cool when makers make something small, pocketable, and just a little nod to them and who they are and what they do. Plus, from a practical standpoint, I think coins are super fun to keep in your pocket and fidget with and flip and ding, heads or tails, that kind of thing. Even though you can tell Siri to flip a coin, it's a lot less. It's a lot more anticlimactic than you would imagine, though. If you guys have never told Siri to flip a coin, just say it, and it's just like it's heads or it's tails, and it's like, well, come on, like give me a fun animation or something. Maybe that's just for the Android folks in the bunch. I don't know if Google does that, but if they do, hats off. All right, for those that have stuck around for part 2 of what we're going to talk about today, someone asked, and if it was you, I'm sorry, I forgot your username. I didn't write these down. I'm just going off of memory because I saw them and I thought, ooh, those are good. Someone said, why does everyone go through a cleaver phase? I think they even said, like, and how do I get out of it? Which made me laugh because as soon as I read that, I was like, oh my god, it's true. And I don't know if it's everyone, but the next topic number 2 is not cleavers, but it's EDC phases. And before I expand too much, like, I did go through a cleaver phase. I used to think cleavers were the coolest blade shape you could ever have. And I thought, oh my god, if it's got a hole cut in it too, like a meat cleaver at a butcher shop, like, whoa, that is peak knife design. We all know that I was not correct there, and I apologize to the knife gods for ever thinking that. But I think there's something really cool and fun about a cleaver. It's not one of those knives you can just pull out in front of anybody. Kind of going back to what Tom and I spoke about in the episode I did on his show, because there's definitely a whoa, and even small cleavers. I'm trying to think of I'm like I think there's a mini mastiff or mini bull mastiff from Kaiser. That's a pretty small cleaver. I can't think of any others off the top of my head right now, but for some reason, I guess I just wanted a cleaver blade. You know what I mean? Or like I don't know. Again, I'm rambling now because I'm trying to remember any of those models. But I will say that during my cleaver phase, the one knife that I really fell in love with was... Oh God, I'm going to get it wrong. Hang on. I'm reaching over. I'm grabbing my phone because... I don't want to get this wrong. It was a maker that... dang, I'm gonna have to scroll back in my feed because the search isn't pulling up. I think it's Northwest Knives, North something. But anyways, he made friction folders, which to this day I'm still not a huge fan of. I mean, I guess it depends on what you call a friction folder, because a lot of double detents are also considered friction folders. But like, had the big, I don't know what you'd call it, like the tab sticking straight up to fold it back. But it was this super aggressive and super sharp, by the way. I cut myself on it more than once. It was this friction folding cleaver, and it was massive, and it had a big cleaver hole, and it was an acid washed blade, and it was jade G10 scales. I mean, it was like everything I wanted in a cleaver. And I remember I saw the I had notifications turned on and all that stuff, and I saw it, and I'm almost positive that I bought it and then immediately started selling stuff to pay for it, because I was like, I'm not going to miss this drop, because he only did like 4 or 5 or 6 at a time. And my God, looking back, that thing was a beast of a knife. I won't say I miss it, because it's just not my style anymore, because again, I got out of the cleaver phase. But I feel like everybody does have a cleaver phase where you're like, ooh, I want this super chunky, aggressive looking knife. And you know, I'm guilty. I went through it too. And I'm oh, you know what? I don't know if this would be considered a cleaver. I guess it would. VDK. Anybody remember VDK? I say remember like he's not still a thing, but I had the Ooh, I also had a Surge knife, a Surge bean flipper cleaver. I forget what the VDK was called, but man, that was a sweet knife. Just in that, like, it was huge, but the action was choice. Super drop sheddy. Man, if I could ever scroll back far enough in my feed. This is how long it's been since I've been in my cleaver phase. I'll get to it eventually. Y'all just sit tight. How's the family? You guys doing okay? How's your day? Hope it's great. Yeah. And I had a few cleaver fixed blades from Tactical Pterodactyl too. And man, I will say those I do miss, because man, his fixed blades are choice. There she is. North Side Knife, which he seems to have cleared his... He hasn't posted in like 2 years. But if you get... This was October of 2017, so we're talking almost 5 years ago. And man, this thing is... Like, the ergos on it were not good, and it was huge and chunky, and all of that for you guys just to hear it was North Side Knife. Anyways, so without a doubt, I went through a cleaver phase. I think everyone does. Just know that there's light on the other end of the tunnel, and you will get through it. And I don't know. I mean, I guess I haven't progressed that much, because I still really love Wharncliffe blades. And I mean, what is a Wharncliffe but like a nicer, more cleaned up cleaver? I don't know. Maybe not. I also love sheep's foot, so the blade, not actual sheep's feet. But again, I promise no more lame dad jokes. But yeah, I think if you're going through a cleaver phase, just know it'll end eventually. Cleavers are cool; they look cool. But again, I think from a practicality standpoint, like I'm more of a drop point Wharncliffe fan, unless you count my GEC 25. That's a spear point, which is also perfection. You guys know I love that knife. But I also wanted to just talk about like phases in general. Like I feel like the whole and maybe this is true for any hobby, but I feel like EDC is a hobby of phases. Everybody went through big, I know Tom was talking about like maybe this was in his talk with Joe about like the chunky big tactical folder phase that the knife industry as a whole went through. So I feel like this is not just me. I feel like this is not just you. This is just hobby wide and maybe just hobbies in general outside of everyday carry, because I mean we are a people society group based on trends and so with trends, I mean trends and phases are sort of synonymous in this example, right? Where this certain thing or this certain style just becomes super popular, and then the popularity catches on and grows and grows and grows and grows, and all of a sudden, hell, it's like pouches, right? I did a whole episode on pouches. I wouldn't have done an episode on pouches 2 years ago. I could have, because I had them, but they just weren't they weren't front of mind. And so whether you call it a trend or a phase or whatever, I think you will continue to go through them. I'm not in the collection phase anymore, which is sad to say, but it's also sort of relieving. I really only, and I think I mentioned this in, I don't know, 1 or 2 episodes ago, maybe, who knows. But like I really am trying, like the phase that I'm in is I want to make sure that I'm supporting my maker friends whenever I can. Or, if I know Justin Lundquist, who's an amazing designer, is putting something out, like I like his stuff. So I'm going to try to kind of, I'm in the phase of like sit and watch and wait and really hone into what I want. Number one, because I got 2 kids and a wife and a house payment, and like I can't just throw all of my disposable income at knives because, well, I just can't. So I kind of have to be more conscientious of like what I'm chasing, what I'm pursuing, and it really has to be something like super important at this point. That's the phase I'm in. I'm in the admire and observe phase of my everyday carry. Like I like what I like, and I'm not venturing too far out of it. But yeah, I if you're in a phase, let me know. Like, jump on Instagram, shoot me a DM, or if you're on Patreon, jump on and I'll post up a question like, what phase are you in right now? Like, if you guys are in a phase, what phase are you in? Where are you at? How'd you get into it? And where do you see it sort of leading to? I'd be curious to hear. But yeah, that sort of wraps up this one. I felt like this was going to be like a 5 or 8 minute episode, and here we are 23 minutes in. Thank you for those who have stuck with me. But yeah, those are my thoughts on coins and phases. Phases and coins and phases. So that's kind of where I'm at. Do you guys agree, disagree, think there's more to it? Am I oversimplifying? Am I overcomplicating? It's probably that one, if it's either of the two, because I tend to do that. But yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this quick chat about those 2 little subjects, and I thank you guys again for the continued support, for downloading, for liking, for sharing, for commenting, for rating and subscribing, and all of those things. Just a couple quick reminders before we go. If you guys are not following me, hit up gtdunn on Instagram. That's my handle. That's where you can find me. That's where I'll post up questions and stuff like that, so you guys can get involved. If you guys want to check out the link in my bio on Instagram, there's a link for a merch shop. I upload new designs as often as I can, but it is everyday carry stuff, gear. I say it's not gear. It's not stuff or gear. It's clothes and hats and stickers. But that's where you'll find everyday carry designs and gearing up merch. So I've got hoodies and shirts and koozies, and if you want to see something else, all you have to do is shoot me a DM. Hey man, I'd really love to get a phone case or whatever, and I'll put up the design and we'll go from there. But please do me a favor. If you do any of that, let me know. Tag me, holler at me, shout it out, because that stuff helps. But yeah, if you guys want to go to that link, you can check out the merch. You never have to do that. Know that listening and sharing and commenting and interacting just in general, that's more than enough. But if you want to get yourself a little something, you want to help support the show, all that money goes right back into getting better equipment, doing more cool things with the pod. You can go and get yourself a little something. And yeah. I had a coworker order a hoodie the other day, and it came in, and oh my god, it turned out so good. So I was stoked to see that. He was super happy with it. And then the last way, if you guys want to support the show, if you're not familiar with Patreon, it's a way creators can do monthly subscriptions. And I think, I don't remember the tier pricings that I set up, but I think it's like $2 or $3 and then $5 and then $10 if you want to be an absolute animal. But those 3 tiers will get you access to shout outs and special live Q&As that I'm going to do directly on Patreon. And I'm going to do some Patreon specific giveaways. But again, know that you don't have to do that. If you want to support the show, you like the content I'm churning out, and you want to see me do more of it and better quality and all of that stuff, like, that's the way to support the show. So I will leave you guys with that. Hopefully you guys are having an awesome day. Thank you again so much for listening, and I will talk to you very, very soon in the next episode. Peace.